All right, you've tuned into a preview of Ole Miss versus Citadel, 1 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Ole Miss has been humming to this point in the season, just beat South Carolina 30-14. Kind of like how Hunter predicted. I think you predicted 30-14. I said 30-13.
So.
Playing Citadel, 4-5 in the season. And Hunter's got the 4-1-1 on how this offense works and what Ole Miss can expect from this game.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said I watched a ton of Citadel football up to this point. They're 4-5. They had a big win last week, so went back, watched a little bit about how this team operates to get a little bit of a glimpse into how, especially the offense, could play against this Ole Miss team. Two-set quarterback, they run a ton. If you break it down, they're running the ball 80% of the time. If you translated that to FBS, they would be second most, only behind Army. They run the ball a lot. Both quarterbacks got legs. They're fast. It could open up an opportunity for maybe one to take off, a play to break loose. But overall, it's an opportunity for Ole Miss to operate as good tacklers, shutting down plays and things like that.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity, right? And I don't want to see a lot from Suntarine Perkins and this defense. When I played football and I didn't play D1 necessarily, I'm a big guy. Playing against the option was always about doing your assignments. Fill in the gaps. Follow the guys. If the fullback's going one way, you stick to your assignment. You do not follow the ball. And, where Ole Miss is going to be fine in this game is just the speed and talent gap. But the reason that these military institutions run these types of offenses is because they don't have the skill. And this is their best chance to control clock and to be able to, win on missed assignments and win on big plays and wear you down. And so it definitely can pose a challenge. Citadel, to this point this season, they've played North Dakota State week 1. They lost 38-0. North Dakota State's top 5 in FCS. They beat Samford in week 2. Samford's a pretty decent opponent. I know they're not playing an opponent of the level of Ole Miss to be able to win this game, and I'd be interested to see what the spread is when it comes out.
Yeah, I don't have anything yet aligned for this game. It's going to be through the roof because of this team being super one-dimensional. They don't pass the ball a lot, 93 pass yards per game. Again, that would put them second least behind just Army, the only FBS team that kind of runs a similar style offense that's so one-dimensional here. And Ole Miss has done a good job up to this point in the season limiting legs. Gunnar Stockton, for example, was kind of the only guy that got loose out of the pocket against Ole Miss. They're doing good at containing the quarterback run for the most part. So
it's a good one, right? And it's definitely a good one to, like you said, they have done pretty good. They contain Mateer pretty well. Obviously a big win for them in Norman when they won a couple weeks back. And it's a good opportunity to see kind of, what this offense could do. Maybe you see Austin Simmons come in as well. Right now, Trinidad Chambliss is 6th in the SEC in passing yards, 1,864 yards. Kawan Lacey, 1st in the SEC in rushing touchdowns. Anything you want to see from Ole Miss offensively in this game? Just curious.
A couple things. I mean, I think looking at this, it provides both a good and a bad scenario or good and bad outlook for Ole Miss playing this game here. And, starting with the good side and looking at last week, I don't really care what anyone says. South Carolina is a SEC football team. Their record doesn't show how good they are. Ole Miss got a win over an SEC football team, a career high from Kawan Lacey. Great defensive effort, special teams effort. They were racking up turnovers. The opportunity in this game is to reinstill some confidence from Chambliss. Kind of had a subpar performance against South Carolina, 12 for 21. Yeah. Those were both low for him. A couple missed throws here and there, an uncharacteristic turnover. They really didn't have any pressure on him. So it was just more him, playing not his best game. I think the long-term confidence is there, but the play calling got a little bit more conservative. This is a good opportunity to reinstill some of that confidence in him. So that's kind of the good side, I guess, of playing a game here.
And I think, the good side from the South Carolina game was, despite, Dylan Stewart and what that defensive line brings pressure-wise, the O-line was able to kind of handle it for Ole Miss. So a lot of it did kind of come down to just how the passes were being thrown. And again, I would take a bottom half SEC football team to this point compared to a bottom half Big Ten team if we're looking at the conferences, right? Like the South Carolina team, I would take them head-to-head against Purdue. I'd take them head-to-head against Wisconsin for sure. But bringing it back to Ole Miss, I agree. I'd want to see more from Chambliss in this game, and as they get prepared to play Florida and get prepared to play Mississippi State, who's no slouch going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, and now I want to look a little bit at the flip side of this game. Um, Ole Miss hasn't really looked that good coming out of buys or subpar matchups on the season. You know, the bye week, they came out of the bye week and didn't look very great against Washington State. Probably the worst game so far. I mean, I'll even say even after the Tulane game, who's not a really bad team, just not, Power 4, they could have probably done better against LSU. I think they left some stuff on the table in that game. They played Georgia State week 1. They came out week 2. They get a little bit of a pass there because it wasn't Chambliss playing, it was Simmons, but one-score game with Kentucky. They're coming out of these games and they're not able to reestablish the momentum or reestablish the intensity. So I hope this doesn't hurt them when they go to play Florida because you played an inferior opponent and you got to turn it back on against the Florida team.
It's a beautiful thing to get to this point as an Ole Miss fan, hearing what Hunter just said, because you're critiquing how they look in wins. Like the Ole Miss program, and they have a lot of success. They're winning games. And you're right. You're 100% right what you're saying, but you listen to it, and you're like, they're not winning the way we think they should look to be winning.
Yeah. And they're looking at
winning. They're winning, though.
Yeah. Well, I think that they look so squarely as a playoff contending team. I think that there's a couple things that they could do differently to be a championship contending team.
And I agree with that. And I agree with that.
They are a team that I think undoubtedly should and will make the playoffs.
Right.
The thing then is now, is this a team that can go toe-to-toe with Ohio State? Is it a team that looks like they could beat Indiana? And I think that yes, but I think there's some things that they could potentially do. And a lot of it defensively, not giving up some points to some subpar teams. Offensively, you need to be in sync 100% of the time. The offensive line is playing great.
Yep.
0.8 sacks allowed per game. That's 8th in the nation. So I think that this team is just consistently progressing. And I think, like you said, it's a great spot to be in where you're now able to make those small adjustments to a really good team to make yourself top instead of having to make these huge adjustments to put yourself into contention. And I love that for this Ole Miss team.
I love it too, right? And it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, like I said, I love SEC football, and I like what Lane has going there, and I mean what he's been able to do this year with the backup quarterback, who's obviously proven to be the guy. And I think we ask more of Ole Miss because when you watch them, you see that there's more there. You see that there's more there at the receiving core. You see, I know the defense can do more there. I don't have that same feeling about Tennessee, and I want to see. If the SEC is going to put top teams in the playoffs, I want to see the teams that can actually win some games.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
It is. And they're right now number 3 in the SEC for standings. Should something happen with an A&M, with an Alabama, they could find themselves in Atlanta as well. So high expectations, high hopes for an Ole Miss team that then hopes to continue that into next year by keeping Lane Kiffin conversation that we can continue to harp on. I think the fans showed out. They love him there. He's doing a lot with this program. I got Ole Miss 63-0.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. I saw him on Pat McAfee this week. Feels like it was ages ago. And like I said, I like Ole Miss in this game. I'm going to say 60-7. I think they give up one touchdown to Citadel. Probably you put the twos in the fourth quarter. I know we went on a little bit of a tangent talking about their schedule and the playoffs and what it means. And that's just what comes with being a good team. People want your coach when you're a good team. People expect more when you're a good team. And so it's a good tune-up game, and then we'll see what they do against Florida and Mississippi State to round out the season. If you like content like this, game previews, game recaps, team of the week, special segments, this is a new SEC podcast. Tune in. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're dialed in, locked in, watching games every Saturday, and we're giving you the best previews and recaps on the internet. So once again, thank you for tuning in.